everybody. I'm going to take you around on the quad and show you some of the dispersed camping around the place where we're at, and Willard Springs Road. All the area, I'm going to show you areas where you can disperse camp. I'm going to do a little loop around what's called Surveyor Canyon. I'll show you on the map where it is. Should be. We've never seen it before, but it'll be fun. Check out some new camping spots maybe. Here we go. So we'll start off here on the ride on the cell tower area. This is Willard Springs Road, about 3/4 of a mile west of I-17. This is a large area that when you come in, sometimes you see people even camped here like this up here, off the left and the right sometimes. I guess they just decided they wanted to camp there. You get good signal right there. And oh, by the way, that on the left over there, that is a green waste dump area. And I've had people ask me, does it stink or anything? No, there's no smell. It's like for plants and tree trimmings and that kind of stuff, green waste. And we've never noticed any smell coming from that area. So, but that's nice. Good to know that anyway. So this is Willard Springs Road. Just take this road and like you're heading back to the freeway. And in just a minute, we're going to turn off to the right. Little road off to the right there that you can barely see, but I don't think that's for dispersed camping. It's probably just a trail, maybe for the rangers and stuff. Here you go. This is the turnoff for Forest Road 253B. 253B. Highly recommend, if you don't have one and you're traveling through this area, get yourself a motor vehicle use map for Coconino National Forest. You'll see a little clip up here come up on the screen in just a minute. All right, well, according to the Coconino National Forest map, this road that we're on right here is the 253B. And I'm going to go down the 253B, and then I'm going to connect up to the next one, which is it'll loop around through Surveyor Canyon. And this is all supposed to be, then around that loop is supposed to be dispersed camping. So never been here before, let's check it out. So I'm going to continue here on 253B, and up in the corner you'll see that map I'm talking about. Now if you stay on this trail, stay on this forest road for about another half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, just keep going, you'll see dispersed camping mostly on the right side. There might be a few spots off to the left, and it's a nice area. The only thing I might advise, like this area coming up here is real nice in here. The only negative that I can think of is you're close to the freeway. If you don't mind having the freeway sound in the evening or in the mornings and stuff when you're sleeping, you might enjoy this area. You are close to the freeway, so you will hear the freeway. The positive is you do have a great signal. There's somebody off to the left right there. They were camping right there. So that's a good thing. The positive is you have a strong cell signal in this area. And you're not far off the freeway. It's convenient if you need a quick spot to pull in for a night. This is a good spot. Lots of little places in here to camp. And in just a minute, the trail's going to come to a head up here. And you're just going to continue to the right. But like I said, there's lots of little spots in here where you can pull off and sleep and camp for a night or two if you need to. That's kind of the nice thing I think about this area. And the road isn't bad. There's just a few little bumps and stuff, but nothing that's unmanageable. You don't need four-wheel drive to get back here if you had a van or a car with a tent and you want to camp back here. Lots of places. And easy to get to. A few little spots, if I remember right in here, but nothing that's really difficult to tackle if you're in a car. as we get later in the video, you're going to notice the road getting more and more rugged and rough. And people ask me sometimes, it looks smooth on the video. Well, that's because the camera has a way of smoothing out all the bumps. The cameras that I'm using, the GoPros, they have a stabilization built into the camera, so you don't really see the bumps with the camera because it takes out all the yeah, I wish our cars would do that, right? But the cameras have the ability through electronics to take out all the bumps, so you don't really notice it with the camera. I notice it when I'm riding my quad, and definitely if you're in a car, you're going to notice it. And we notice it in a motorhome because we'll start rocking and rolling and rocking and rolling, and you can hear things falling behind you, and it's not fun. The nice thing, I guess, if you're pulling a trailer with a pickup or a car, you're not going to hear all the dishes falling in the trailer. So somebody told me one time. And I've heard stories, people pulling into their campsite, opening their trailer doors, and oh my goodness, seeing everything falling all over the floor and stuff, because it does happen. So I guess it's a good thing if you're in a motorhome, because you know when to slow down. If you're in a trailer, you just keep going. Turn right here to stay on the 253B. Stay on the trail. And there's more spots here. You see a car right over there on to the right there, real quick. And there's some nice little spots that if you wanted a little more quiet, you can keep going back a little farther. But it won't be too long and the road will start getting a little more rugged. You'll see. And you'll notice the road. If you're watching the road in front here, you'll notice it's starting to get a little more rough and a little more rugged. There's a dip ahead, and that dip, if you're in a car, this little dip coming up here could be a real game changer. It's the kind of dip I don't want to take in the motorhome. I don't want to lose any plumbing underneath my rig. You might be able to take it if you go real slow. That's kind of the secret. I talk to people who bring I've seen people bring Class A's and Class C's back here and vans and stuff, and the secret is to, at least for a certain length of road, is if you do this slow, you could probably do it. If you go really slow and easy. But there are a few places up here where you get lots of ruts and rugged bumps and stuff, and it could just be kind of, be careful. And the other thing, if you get back here and you get a really hellacious wind or a rainstorm, and we do get those where it rains 1-2 inches of rain, this area in here can get really nasty for a few days until it dries out, because you not only have the rocks and the bumps and the ruts that are already there, but then you've got mud puddles and water puddles that you can't always see what's underneath the water because it could be a huge dip. And we all hear stories, and so just be safe when you get back in here. If you've got a high profile van, I do know they make those 4x4 vans that have a high profile. They're raised up a little bit, and they're 4x4 vans, so they have 4-wheel drive. In that case, you could probably get back in here without any problem. Or if you have a Jeep or a pickup truck with 4-wheel drive, something like that. The funny thing is, I didn't see anybody except in one spot up ahead. I didn't see anybody on this road. I was kind of alone. And experience up in that corner there, that's our old motorhome we had, an 87 Bounder. And we had a lot of fun with that. Took the kids camping, up Woods Canyon Lake, and went to California and went to the beach. We did all kinds of trips with the kids. And I took it on a trip, after I'd had it for about 10 years, and we went up to the White Mountains near Forest Lakes or Woods Canyon Lake, one of those. And we went out on one of those forest roads like this. And oh my goodness, After that trip on this kind of a forest road and that old bounder, I lost my cruise control, went out. And then I also lost a hubcap. I had to put my hubcap back. I mean, it was like so bad. And I think after that trip, the front end just didn't act the same. I noticed, I knew the front end was having trouble already, needed some bushings and stuff like that, but it just ages your vehicle faster than it should. 253F. All right, well, we are still on the 253B, and that little cutoff there was 253F. Now there's some really nice little camp spots here, but as you can see, the road is not exactly the kind of road you want to bring your Subaru down, right? So where we're at, it's a lot easier to get into. But this, on the map here, it shows all this area is dispersed camping. But it doesn't tell you just how easy it is to get back here. So kind of word to the wise. I'm going to keep going around Surveyor Canyon up ahead. And then supposedly, according to the map, I can do a loop and come back to the campsite. Thumbs up, here I go. That little screenshot you saw in the corner there, that was that motor vehicle use map that I get from the Coconino National Forest website. You can download that for your phone if you use the Avenza app. And I believe it's free, so check into that. The Avenza app for your phone, or you just go on the internet and you can look it up on there too. They have it on the Coconino National Forest website. And here we're coming up on the little cattle crossing. You'll see it in just a second. There it is. Kind of shows you where I am on the map. Pretty little area right here. Oh my goodness. This would be an awesome area. Just look at it. And there's nobody back here. And this is all dispersed camping, because all that map that you saw just a second ago, wherever it's yellow highlighted along the road, that means it's dispersed camping on both sides. But the map doesn't tell you what the road's like. So this kind of a video, maybe it'll help somebody. They say, oh, you know, Dave, this is no problem, I can handle this. Great. If you can handle this kind of road and you got a vehicle capable of getting back here, by all means do it. Get a little privacy. Little trick photography there. All right, on we go. I don't even know where I'm at. It sure is pretty back here. But the road, I wouldn't want to take my motorhome down this road, but it sure is pretty back here. If you had a four-wheel drive vehicle with high clearance and a tent, rooftop tent, or maybe a trailer that you can get back here, it'd be really pretty. Really pretty little areas back here. All right, on down the road. I think somewhere over there is Surveyor Canyon. I think I may have just passed it. Actually, I think Surveyor Canyon is still ahead. I try to watch the map while I'm driving, but I'm more concerned about watching the road. I do have my little Garmin set up on the front of the quad there, so I can kind of keep an eye on it. But you'll notice once in a while you'll see me stop, and I'm just kind of checking my map. It's funny because there's a little spot ahead where I actually lost. I got lost. I wasn't watching the map, and I made a left instead of a right. You'll see that coming up here. But I really do try to watch the maps because it is easy to get lost back here. It's easy to get lost and lose your sense of direction. Because you'd think, oh, it'd be easy. You know, I know I'm going north. But the trails suddenly turn left and right sometimes, and you may not realize you're going west or northwest or northeast. And kind of you get lost. And there's little trails that turn off from other trails that aren't always on the map. That's another thing. So you really do have to keep an open eye and keep aware, keep alert. Most of the time, if you stay right on the designated trail that looks like people have been on it, you're fine. But sometimes there are other trails that branch off, and mostly because of people in the past that go camping off into the woods somewhere, and then over time they develop a little trail. So you do have to be careful, kind of keep alert. That's why a little trail map is really helpful. And the Coconino motor vehicle use map is very helpful. Here's where we're getting ready to turn off here. This is the... Alright, 9493A. Where does that go? Let me look at my map here. And this is, you can see on the map, you look at the map there was a little turnoff that kind of went to the left and then stopped. So you have to be careful sometimes, like I said. It's just pretty back here, isn't it? The nice thing, if you can get back in here, and you think, if you're watching this and you're thinking, hey Dave, that's not bad, I can handle this on my Jeep or my truck. And there are people that have trucks with trailers that are, you know, capable of going up over rocks and stuff. And you can get back here, you get a lot of privacy. It's quiet. Animals, I didn't see. I know somebody was asking me about if I saw any deer. We didn't see any deer or elk. It's not unusual. Certain times of the year you will see deer and elk up through here. Bear, once in a while, maybe. I'm not saying they're not there, but they usually stick near the water source along with the deer and the elk. There are tanks. The tanks, the water tanks, they leave for the cattle, and there are cattle in this area because this is kind of an open range area. That's why we have the cattle guards. And so the cows kind of keep the, when you see cows, you know there's not going to be a lot of elk in that area or bears, especially if they don't want to compete with the food sources and stuff and kind of stay away from each other. It's up along the forest lakes that we were at where they had wild horses. The wild horses really keep the elk away. But you might see some elk in this area during certain times of the year. This was Labor Day weekend, and it's going to start cooling off. And as it starts to cool down, the elk will actually go down in altitude a little bit. They kind of migrate. Again, I'm stopping to look at my map right here. Make sure I'm going the right direction. And it was in here that coming up here in a little bit is where I made my navigation mistake. But really, I was just like, I was trying to keep my eye on the map, but I was also just trying to enjoy the ride because it's so pretty back here and so many areas where you could camp. And really not far in this area, you're not far from Oak Creek Canyon. There's a couple of the trail that I goof up on here in a minute. If I'd have stayed on it, it would have dead-ended right near the where the canyon goes down into Oak Creek. Off to the, I'm going to make a left instead of a right, and you'll see. And if I went and stayed on that trail, it would drop. I'd probably reach the edge of the canyon that drops down into Oak Creek Canyon. Here's the cattle guard. I think I crossed over that thing 2 or 3 times before I finally realized which way to go. And the rocks. Oh, I hate rocks. I don't mind dips and bumps, but sometimes the rocks can be annoying. And it really helps if you do have a vehicle that can get off-road. It helps to air down your tires a little bit. Little tip there for you. If you come back here in a 4-wheel drive pickup, a Jeep, air down your tires. I can do it on my quad too, and I should. it would make the ride a little more comfortable, especially on these rocks. I'm not worried. Here's where I made my goof up, right here. And you can see right there at the map, I went off to the left, and I'm on now what's the 949A, or 9498, sorry. And I stay on the, I should have turned around right there. I got worried about the camera, but that's where I got off a little bit. And I went back this way. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And I realized I'm not going the right direction. So at this point, I'm kind of going northwest. And like I said, if I stayed on this and just kept going, I would eventually run into the edge of the canyon that goes down into, oh, there's campgrounds down at Oak Creek Canyon. Beautiful area down there, by the way. I did a video where we drove down through there a while back on Oak Creek Canyon. And going down from Oak Creek Canyon into Sedona. Beautiful drive. Beautiful ride. Places to camp through there. Some really nice little campgrounds. Banjo Bill, other ones. But notice the trail. This is my first clue that something's not right here. Because I'm going downhill and I'm starting to make a turn here, and I just kind of had that gut instinct that something wasn't quite right. Because by now I should have been going more towards the northwest. But hey, I was having fun, I was exploring, I wasn't really too worried about it. It wasn't, I think, until there was a big tree up here laying across the trail. And the ruts started getting bigger. And I realized, oh, I think I'm going the wrong way. You just get that instinct like, oh, not a lot of people come through here. Like right through here. See all the trees falling over and stuff. Usually on our Arizona forest roads, a good way to make sure you're on the right trail, they put those little trail post signs. That's where I stopped and checked my map and then realized, oh, I better turn around. I am not going the right way. So I did a little turnaround here. And a lot of guys will come back here in their Razors, Can-Ams, and sometimes even Jeeps and stuff, and do a little exploration back here. It's not a bad idea if you come back here. Look at the trees down. It's not a bad idea to bring a chainsaw with you, or at least a handsaw. I carry one actually in the motorhome, an electric saw, reciprocating saw, that I can use to, cut little small pieces of wood and stuff for fires or whatever we want. I don't really have a chainsaw though, but if I was did a lot of trails like this, I wouldn't hesitate. Probably should throw one in the back of the quad just in case, I do have a little small hand one that's about 1.5 feet long. It opens up and it's a nice little hand saw to have handy just in case you run across something laying in the middle of your trail. Because sometimes you get on a trail that hasn't been traveled for a while and trees fall over. The nice thing about being on the quad, as opposed to like a bigger vehicle, is it's easy for me to kind of go around things. In fact, some of these spots where it got so rough, I was halfway tempted to run right up on the side of the trail there on the grass and see if it was smoother than the trail. Yeah, that's one of those times you could tell where I kind of stopped for a second and looked at my map. Make sure I'm going the right direction. All of this back here you can disperse camp on. And I think it's even marked on the Coconino map. Like I've said before, they don't tell you what the roads are like. So it's kind of nice to come out and explore this. But guys come out here all the time and they run around in their razors and Can-Ams and stuff, and it's just fun. This particular trail does dead end, though. It doesn't go down into Oak Creek. It would be kind of nice if it did. The one that there's a trail up a little farther down the freeway called Schnebley Hill Road, and that trail will actually take you down into Oak Creek Canyon. Here's where this is where I should have went right when I went left. And the funny thing was, I looked at the map and knew I was on the right trail. But as I went up this trail a little farther, I started to have doubts because it got really nasty. Even more than it was before. Trees down. Lots of firewood. If I'd have had a bigger container on the back of my quad, I could have got me some firewood. Look at that. A lot of this firewood you see is from the forest rangers coming through here, and they do a lot of trimming. So that's not unusual. They come through here just periodically, and they trim down the old stuff, cut it down, thin it out to help prevent if there's ever a forest fire, kind of less fuel for a forest fire. I think it's been a long time since a forest fire's ever coming through this area. But like I said just a minute ago, there were a couple times where I was tempted to just go up and around all the rocks and get up on the green sections, check it out and see if it'd be any smoother. I think there was a point here where I did that, and it wasn't too bad. I just want to make sure I stay on the trail, because if you get off like that and you just start going willy-nilly across the forest, then your chances of getting lost go up even more so. Always try to stay on the trail, and even though this doesn't really look like a trail, as you can see, it is a trail. And I moved over a little bit to the left here, and then I realized, oh, I'm on the better trail. This is probably not the better part of the trail right here. There's another one off to the left there. Would have been probably a little smoother. And I finally realized, oh, I can go around here to the point. I think right in here. It didn't make it perfect, but it helped a little bit. At least I knew I was still on the trail. I felt good when I saw the cattle guard. That told me I'm getting close to the right area. Because this is kind of open range and you might run into cattle. So you want to keep your eyes open and keep looking around, because sometimes the cows will just stand right in the middle of the road. They'll be eating grass, and you'll drive by and they'll just look at you like, what are you looking at? We actually had a couple, I think in one of the videos I did last time, there was a couple of cows around just north of our campsite. When we went on one of the rides, Tammy and I went and saw the cows. They were just sitting in a little meadow, chomping on grass. And at some point here, in just a minute, I know there was some point up in here where I ran into my first vehicle for the whole trip. And oh, here it is. Yeah. I was like, whoa, here comes a truck.
Good luck. It gets pretty nasty back there, even with this. We'll see. We'll turn around. That's what I did. Yeah, have a good one.
I was really surprised to see a truck coming at me on this trail. I guess he was just out doing the same thing I was doing in his pickup truck. But that's a good sign. When you start seeing other vehicles, you know you're getting close to the campsite, or close to an area where there's people. And you can just see them off to the left up there, some campers and stuff. This particular group here was, that you see ahead there, that particular group was a large group of people that work for the Forest Service. They were having their own little Labor Day camp, which I thought was kind of cool. And it's always good to get back on the regular road again. I felt like I was on the freeway. I'm just north of our camp, about a mile or so, so I came out just about right, did the loop. This is the same trail that Tammy and I took on the other video that we did, where we went up to the Ritter tank. And you'll probably see some campers off to the side up here. This isn't bad at all. Just once in a while you'll see some ruts in the road. There's the campers we passed yesterday. Oh, that one camper nobody was there with it. They just parked it there and left. And then there's the pickup. People do that sometimes. They'll bring up their trailers. And it was Labor Day weekend, so all I could figure is they thought they were going to come up here for Labor Day, or maybe they're coming the next week. Who knows? They just leave it, park it there, and leave it. And really, most of the time you can do that. I'd say 95% of the time you can do that, and nobody's going to bother your stuff at all. We've seen people do that a lot. And most of the time, like I said, people aren't going to mess with it. They're just going to leave it alone. There's not that many people coming back here. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed this. And it's always kind of nice, I think, to go around and see what it looks like in the area. Because like I said before, the maps don't always tell you everything. They don't tell you what the roads are like. Like this isn't too bad. But I've been in some spots like around that other back side of the trail where it's like, oh, no, we're not going to take the motorhome back there. Even though it looks like you can get back there. It's always good to see your camp. Always good to see camp again. Feels like home. Well, safe travels. Be careful. Get out and see the world. It's a beautiful place out there. Wherever you're at. Wherever you're going. Lots of places to go see. If you like this kind of video, please hit the like button. It helps. Helps with the channel, and subscribe. Thank you for all your support. Stay tuned for more coming soon. Catch you later. Bye.